RHS. I'm David.
And I'm Trey.
Welcome to this week's RHS Weekly. We've got school news, student features, and sports highlights. Also coming up is a look at clubs, important reminders from counseling, and what's happening around RHS and the community.
We'll also highlight this week's Career Center program and feature something new in Working Title with Maddox and Elizabeth. Now into our school news.
I'm Nitasia Russell.
And I'm Sardini Funk. Here's your latest Red Devil sports update.
Tuesday, the Red Devils boys basketball team will kick off sectionals against Muncie Central at 6 p.m. The Red Devils are in the Greenfield Central sectional, which will also host Anderson and Pendleton Heights in a first-round matchup. The winners of those two games advance to the second round, where they will play either Mount Vernon or Greenfield Central. They both receive first-round byes. Tickets are available in advance on the IHSAA website.
Spring sports practices are getting underway, and it's not too late to join. Speak with any of the coaches in the athletic office for any more information on joining. Don't forget that you will need to have a physical on file before you can start with any of the teams.
The boys basketball team finished their regular season last week, losing to Lafayette Jeff. With the loss, the team finished the season with a 6-18 record. Eli Hubbard led the team in scoring, rebounding, and blocks per game. Girls basketball finished their season with a record of 4-18. Arcery Nunn led the team in scoring and rebounding per game. Other winter sports, boys wrestling completed their season with 3 wrestlers advancing to the semi-state.
Girls wrestling had a strong season with Claire Abbott advancing to the state championship. Red Devils swimming and diving performed well all season and had a several top 10 finish in the sectionals, including Leighton Smith, 3rd place, finished at sectionals in the 200 individual medley. Richmond's
gymnastic team has had a strong season, including a first-place team title at the Rushville Invitational earlier this month. The team is heading into sectionals this weekend at Connersville, and we want to wish them good luck.
While we had a number of standout performances by our student athletes this month, we'd like to highlight gymnastics member Grace Farrell, who was an all-around champion, taking first place in all 4 events she completed in the Rushville meet.
Congratulations and keep up the good work. Good luck to all of our Red Devil athletes this weekend and next week with sectionals. I'm Nitasia Russell.
And I'm Sardini Funk. That's your Richmond High School sports update. Go Red Devils.
Hello RHS, I'm Michael Allen with tips and info from counselors for the coming SAT. Juniors, you'll be taking the SAT on March 5th. Review previous PSAT scores to understand your strengths and areas that need improvement. Find online resources such as SAT practice tests through College Board or through Khan Academy. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each day reviewing skills that need improvement. Good night's sleep before the test and have breakfast the day of the test. During the test, pace yourself. Make educated guesses. It is better to guess than leave a question unanswered. That is all we have for tips of counselors. I'm Mike Allen with RHS Live. Till next time.
Hello RHS, I'm Ben. Welcome back to Around Town, where we highlight news and events in Richmond. This is what the CVS on East Main Street looks like right now, and this is what it will look like in the next couple of months. As you may know, last year, the CVS on East Main Street closed permanently and moved all their supplies and medicine to Chester Boulevard. And soon, the CVS on East Main Street will remodel to a Dollar Tree. There's already a Dollar Tree at the Walmart Strip Mall and the Dollar Tree on West National Road, so in total, there will be 3 Dollar Trees in Richmond. Here's a quick one. Fazoli's has permanently closed. There's no information on that at the moment. That is it for this week's Around Town. I'm Benjamin Fullerton. Let's see what they're talking about on Working Title.
Hello, I am Maddox Quainer. On this episode of Working Title, we will be covering James Ramey, better known to the world as Baby Huey. Born in Richmond in 1944, James Ramey formed his first band, the Vets, while still in high school. Due to a glandular disorder, Ramey weighed about 350 pounds. To keep things light about his condition, he adopted the name of Baby Huey after the cartoon duck. At 19, he moved to Chicago to pursue music. In 1963, he formed Baby Huey and the Babysitters with organist and trumpeter Melvin Deacon Jones and guitarist Johnny Ross. They became popular in the Chicago club scene, releasing early singles such as Beg Me, Monkey Man, Messing with the Kid, and Just Being Careful. By the late 1960s, as the counterculture movement gained traction, Huey signed with Curtis Mayfield's Kurt Allen Records. The rest of the band was not included in the deal, but they continued recording together, which caused tension between them. They transitioned into a psychedelic soul band with Huey adopting an afro and African-inspired robes. Their music began addressing the racial tensions of the era, and according to his bandmates, Ramey's vocal delivery was strikingly similar to styles later popularized by rappers. They performed on the Soul TV show on May 6, 1969, and the Merv Griffin show on May 17, 1969. But unfortunately, both of these segments are now considered lost media. By 1970, Ramey had developed a heroin and alcohol addiction, and his weight increased to 400 pounds. He began missing gigs and practice sessions. Melvin Jones recalled in his book that he once poured cereal for Ramey and his drug kit fell out of the box. On October 28, 1970, Ramey passed away from a drug-related heart attack at the age of 26. He is buried in Earlham Cemetery. His legacy continued with the posthumous release of the Baby Huey story, The Living Legend, now considered a classic. Songs like Hard Times have been sampled by rappers such as Ice Cube, A Tribe Called Quest, Ghostface Killah, and Biz Markie. The song has even been covered by The Roots and John Legend. Overall, James Ramey's impact is immense, even though he lived a tragically short life. He left an undeniable mark on soul and funk, bridging the gap between theatrical performance and socially conscious music. His presence and voice were larger than life, paving the way for future performers while amplifying the fight for African American rights. I've been Maddox Coiner.
Hello RHS, I'm Ely with Working Title, and this week's topic is Plastic Tree, and an alternative rock band from Japan. Their interesting choices of sound and fashion making them gain interest in the early 90s, and their first mini album releasing in December of 1995. Despite the band being labeled alternative rock, the members state that they don't think that they belong to any label at all, mainly because of their unique use of sound, mixing an interesting list of instruments in their songs and even other genres. Things like heavy metal, rock, electronic, and even orchestra for backing track. If any of that interests you, check out Plastic Tree. Remember to have a good day and stay warm.
Hey everyone, looking to get involved, meet new people, and make your school year way more interesting? Here are some awesome clubs you can join right now here at your school. Advocacy Club. Trey Ronnie, want to speak up about the issues that matter and make real differences in your school and community? Advocacy Club is a place to turn your voice into action. Amigos. Trey Ronnie, interested in culture, friendship, and connecting with others? Amigo is all about building community and celebrating diversity. AVP Club. Archer Burner, love working with cameras, sound, and live production? AVP Club helps run media and tech behind the scenes. Bible Club. Trey Wilson, looking for a place to grow in your faith and connect with others? The Bible Club meets for discussion, encouragement, and community. So whether you want to lead, create, compete, or help others, or just meet new friends, there's a club for you. Get involved and make this year count.
Welcome back to Chaos News, and today we find ourselves in a sticky situation at Purdue University that had students buzzing and janitors scrubbing. A mystery man seen wandering around campus completely slathered in what looked like peanut butter has finally been seen, and the details are frankly spreadable. Viral footage captured this shirtless individual walking through the Active Learning Center glistening from head to toe in a thick brown substance. The sighting sparked immediate biohazard concerns with university staff rushing to sanitize doorknobs, chairs, and anything else to protect students with nut allergies. However, after a brief investigation, Purdue police have identified the culprit as a student with a surprising sense of safety. Turns out he wasn't using Jif or Skippy, he was actually covered in sunflower seed butter. I tell you, when the news broke, I was absolutely shell-shocked. I thought for sure we were dealing with a real nutty case. But it turns out the truth was much more refined. I guess you could say the investigation really creamed the competition for the strangest story of the year. I'm just glad the student was thoughtful enough to use the sunnier alternative. That's all for today, Red Devil Media.
I'm here with Mission Brimfighters. I have 4 questions for you about culinary. What skills do you hope your students take away from this program?
Well, obviously I'd like for them to learn how to cook. But aside from that, I also want them to learn how to convert ratios, how to be able to take half and divide it in half down to a quarter, to learn what something should look like for a tablespoon versus a teaspoon. So basically cooking skills, some math skills, reading recipes, the whole thing.
What are some of the most important qualities for success in a culinary field?
Oh, There's a lot. One of the first ones, and one of the ones that is nearest and dearest to my heart, is sanitation. Nobody wants to eat out of a dirty kitchen. Nobody wants to eat where there's dirty food. Nobody wants to eat where any of that's questionable. So I want them to learn, basic sanitation. That's a big takeaway. Once you have sanitation down, the rest of it seriously is learning to read the recipe, learning to follow the recipe, learning what the measurements are, because if you make a recipe the right way, it should turn out every time.
How do you help students discover their own culinary interest or specialty?
I let them experiment all they want with spices. So in my class, the spice cabinet is always open. And so, a lot of times they'll spice it up and it'll be too hot. Or they'll say, yeah, I'm not going to use any salt because this is a sweet recipe. And then they'll be like, this is off. So I think a lot of it is they need to just discover what appeals to them, what they want to recreate, what they want to give to other people, and whether other people like what they make.
What advice would you give to students interested in pursuing a career in culinary arts?
Well, obviously take my classes and Mr. Watson's classes. He teaches the more advanced culinary arts. So that would be number one. Number two, tons of opportunities in the restaurant field, regardless of your age. And that's a really great place to kind of get a foot in the door. Culinary school beyond the high school. I know Muncie has Ivy Tech Culinary Arts program. So there's something right in our backyard that you can run up to and get an advanced degree in. But I'd say just study, enjoy cooking, cook for people a lot. That way you learn whether or not it's something you like to do and whether you get pleasure from.
Thank you, Ms. Brimstiders.
Hello, RHS. I'm Carly Walker at Richmond High School, where their culinary arts program is serving up real-world experience for students dreaming of a future in the food industry. Here in a culinary classroom, students aren't just following recipes, they're learning life skills, kitchen safety, teamwork, and time management. Every day, they gain experience that will translate directly to restaurant and hospitality careers. Culinary career can start right out of high school, but many chefs attend culinary schools or apprenticeships for advanced training. Entry-level cooks can earn around $30,000 a year, while experienced chefs and restaurant managers can make $50,000 or more. Well-known chefs like Gordon Ramsay and Carla Hall starting with skills learned in classrooms just like this one. Richmond High School Culinary Arts Program is giving students the ingredients for a successful future. Reporting for RHS Live, I'm Carly Walker. Now back to the anchors.
That's all for this week's RHS Weekly.
Be sure to follow our social media and take part in this week's poll or challenge.
Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more content.